Cloverbells here, back with another Series 12 team building video, and today we're looking at Kyogre and Lunala. So with the next March International Challenge coming up, I have been asked, what the heck am I going to use? Well, it's going to be something similar to the February challenge, where I used something similar, where I had Kyogre and Calyrex-Shadow. But this time, I thought a little bit more, and when I looked at the squad, I said, you know what, I think Lunala would actually work on a team better like this. So the idea here is, if you can just go the bulky route, go with a slower Kyogre, and then go the Trick Room route with Lunala, which is one of the few aggressive Trick Room setters that we have in the format at the moment. Then maybe we can just put out a lot of damage, and then potentially Dynamax either the Lunala or something else on the team, depending on what the meta calls for. So the main thing now is, okay, we have the Lunala, we have the Kyogre. Now, how do we build the rest of the team, and how do we check the rest of the meta? Okay, and again, if you're interested in doing stuff like this with me, where we build the team, we hash out the EVs. This is a form of coaching, but what we really call it is team building. This is a tier 3 sub on the channel where you, the viewer, can sit down on a Discord with me, in a Discord call with me, and then we can build a team from scratch. That's a tier 3 sub. We've done a few already, or you can go with the tier 2 sub where you create a team yourself and send me the Pokepaste, and then I will optimize it, I will review it, and then I'll even do a video on it showing how I changed and improved the team, and a couple of damage calcs, a couple of sample battles, but again, well worth the investment, I can promise you that. But anyway, so how are we going to do this? So with Lunala and Kyogre, the main thing you have to worry about is Yveltal, because Yveltal, especially with the Assault Vest, can tank both of these. And then it can go for Snarls and weaken both of them, and then Lunala is 4 times weak to Yveltal, so it's a little problematic there. But you have 4 other slots on the team, and as long as you can cover for the Yveltal weakness, you will be just fine. So the one thing I did consider on this kind of squad is, all right, well, I need something physical because I have enough special attackers as it is, and I need something for the Yveltal. Now, I did consider the Tapu Koko with the Life Orb. I did consider this because physical Koko with Life Orb puts out a lot of damage. It hard walls Yveltal, gives me electric terrain where I'm not bothered by sleep from Venusaur or something like an Amoonguss. And it does relatively well on a Lunala Kyogre team, but I decided to go with a little bit of a different route here. I wanted a stronger Dynamax option, so instead I went with something like Thundurus here, and I went with the Defiant one, of course, with the Life Orb item actually. So with this, you also not only can do well against Yveltal, but the Incineroar is also an issue. Right, not for Kyogre, but for Lunala. And if you can just limit the team's use of Incineroar, where they bring it out against you, and by bringing out the Thundurus, then that gives you a big lead turn 1, where you can go for those strong Dynamax plays, and then maybe even get your Kyogre in position where you can receive those Airstream boosts, and then now you go for those faster Water Spout plays, or those Origin plays, Origin Pulse plays, I should say. And you can even Airstream for your Lunala, because Lunala, even though it's going to be like our Trick Room on, 97 speed is not that slow. If it can get some Airstream boost here, you can even outspeed the main threat, which is Calyrex-Shadow, and then just KO it right back, because Calyrex is also weak to you because you're a Ghost type. So that was the first thing that I considered, and then from here, it just came down to something like a matter of Incineroar, just to have another Dark type on the team for Calyrex, and then something against Zacian, because you have Intimidate support, you have Parting Shot, Cycling, fake out pressure, you know, the things that a VGC likes, a VGC team likes to have. So Incineroar is like on any good competitive squad, and it makes sense here, right? You can always lead your Lunala, Incineroar, you know, fake out one slot, set up Trick Room, then Parting Shot into you know, either your Kyogre or a physical sweeper, which I'm going to show you in a second, and then Dynamax, and then boost up your Lunala, and then just, you know, take advantage from there. So Lunala Incin's always a relatively good lead. Okay, and then from here, just extra support, you know, screen support with the Grimmsnarl. So this is the mon that ruins all kinds of damage calcs, right? You know, with your screen sets, and then your stab fairy move for an Yveltal, for a Palkia, Thunder Wave, you know, just for extra speed control and power hacks if you need it. And you can even stall out potential tailwind turns by just setting up screens, and yeah, just an overall strong mon, again, in a dual restricted format where you can limit the damage output of your opponent, right? That is the point of Grimmsnarl and Incineroar. Like you're supporting the team by limiting just how much damage they can do against you. So this way, Kyogre and Lunala, which don't like taking damage, can just, you know, reverse sweep the opponent. Now, this is the main slot here in the last one, so I really liked it in the Calyrex Kyogre team, and we're bringing it back here. This is the Ferrothorn, and we're going to make it the aggressive Ferrothorn, which is the Dynamax version. Which is the Assault Vest Ferrothorn, and I'll show you why it really works on this team, mainly because if you have the Assault Vest and you have 4 offensive coverage moves, let's just reveal it right now, even before we get into the full team building aspect. Like you're going to have Power Whip, right? You're going to have your Steel move like Gyro Ball, which is very strong in Trick Room. Then you're going to have Knock Off, which is a dark move, and then finally Body Press. So this way, after you Dynamax and get a couple Steel Spike bonuses, now your body presses are very strong in Trick Room. So the main thing here is, one, you have an answer to Gastrodons and, you know, other bulky water types like a Seismitoad, a Blastoise, you know, even an opposing Kyogre. So the Ferrothorn's really good there. Then you have Gyro Ball, which is very strong in Trick Room. Max Steel Spike, where, you know, if you Dynamax this thing, by the way, this is the Assault Vest. If you Dynamax this, you can boost up your Kyogre and Lunala's defenses, and then, you know, they stay bulky for the remainder of the game, and, you know, they don't die. And then you have this one, Knock Off, which is really nice because Knock Off, you get rid of, you include special defense drops on your opponent, which Kyogre very much likes, and then so does Lunala. Like, can you imagine the opponent having special defense drops and then they have a Kyogre staring at them in the face, ready to click Water Spout? Things don't live. Alright, so Dynamax Ferrothorn is really good on this team once you get Trick Room up. So this is the physical sweeper I was talking about, right? So you can lead Lunala Incin, you know, turn 1, you know, set up Trick Room, and then even Fake Out or Parting Shot into your Ferrothorn, Dynamax the Ferrothorn next to Lunala, and then just, you know, boost it up, you know, with Steel Spikes or decrease special defenses, and then this thing is just clicking Moongeist Beam till the horses come home. Same thing with Kyogre as well. You know, you could even Parting Shot into your Kyogre, and then just deal big damage from there. Very rarely will your Lunala Dynamax. Most of your max options are either Ferrothorn or Thundurus here. Sometimes the Kyogre can max, but Lunala is more like that Trick Room setter that just deals damage without needing to Dynamax. Like, can you do it? Yeah, sure. Max Phantasm, Max Rockfall. We're going to be going with a power-up set, but yeah, that's the idea with this team, right? You know, you got answers to most of the meta with, you know, Thundurus, Instant Grimmsnarl, and then you have strong Ferrothorn. You know, not too many things can, you know, really hit Ferrothorn in the rain, might I add. So, like, even though it's 4 times weak to fire moves, if you bring out the rain, you know, Ferrothorn's very bulky. Even that 4 times weakness, it's still, like, doesn't do a whole lot of damage. And then you have screen support as well. So now let's just go ahead and reveal the GIFs. So we got the Kyogre, the Lunala, then we'll see the Incineroar, the Grimmsnarl, the Thundurus, and the Ferrothorn. So we got our 6. I already showed you the item and the move set for Ferrothorn. So let's do the others, and then let's just do the EVs. Start with Lunala. So I did say we are going to go with a power Meteor Beam set, and that is exactly right. So we're going to go with a Moongeist Beam, Stab, Ghost Move, Max Phantasm, drop defenses. You know, good for Incineroar and Ferrothorn if you need to. So, you know, that's why we run offensive Ferrothorn as well, because it can benefit off of those Phantasm drops. Really, really nice. And then from here, of course, I said Meteor Beam, and then Trick Room, of course, right? And then Protect in the last slot. And it is going to be a Power Herb set right here. All right, Kyogre, very standard here. So still Mystic Water. Now, I did consider the Calm Mind Kyogre on this team, but I don't think it's necessary this time around. I think we just want it to be slow and bulky, and then just deal a lot of damage, right? So let's just go ahead and finish off the movesets here. So Water Spout, for sure. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Water Spout, Origin Pulse. Now, originally here, well, first let me just show you. Of course, Protect in the last slot. Now, originally I did have Thunder here, and it made sense at the time because, you know, if you have like Thunderous Kyogre, what you can do is, you know, go for Max Lightning, set the terrain, and then Kyogre can do extra damage with Thunder in the rain, which made sense, and I think it still does make sense. But then you run into like games where they bring a Gastrodon, and the Ferrothorn may not always be optimal to try and bring, and then you don't really have anything to hit the Gastrodon with. So then in the end, I still went with Ice Beam, just because. But if you are willing to play better, all right, then I definitely think Thunder is the better move choice to have in this slot. But just in case you're in those situations where like I really need to hit this Gastrodon but I have no Ferrothorn, then this is where like an Ice Beam comes in handy, right? And it's neutral to Groudon. I'm sorry, Gastrodon, right? So there's that. Now from here, Thunderous. So here we're gonna go with Wild Charge, Fly. All right, Protect. Oh, that's Agility. Hold on. Whoa. Protect in the last slot. Now, normally here you would run something like Brick Break to break screens, which becomes Max Knuckle. There's not too many things that Thunderous wants to be next to that can really benefit off of the Max Knuckle other than himself. Yes, I understand Incin and Ferrothorn can do that, but like, you know, most times they're not gonna, it's not optimal to really have that next to it, because the Incineroar is gonna be cycling in and out, and you know, there's very rare times where you're gonna be doing Ferrothorn, Thunderous next to each other. So what I decided to do instead was this. And remember, we have the Life Orb, so Life Orb Foul Play, which again becomes Max Darkness. So again, if you're next to your Kyogre, or if you're next to Lunala, you know, you go for Airstream one turn, these two things are fast, then you can go for the Max Darkness, and then Kyogre's Water Spouts hit like a truck. They already hit like a truck, now they hit even more like a truck. And then the Lunala, same thing, you know, it's almost like a +1 Moongeist Beam, or like a +2 Moongeist Beam if you already clicked your Meteor Beam. So I think that this kind of tech is really, really nice. And most times you're clicking Lightning and Airstream anyway, so there's that. Incineroar, very, very standard here. So just a little bit of extra security against Sun. You're going to go Safety Goggles here. Now you can go Citrus Berry. Actually, I think because we're changing the weather, I think this is a little bit better. And I did run into a couple of situations where like, damn, I really wish I had this berry. So I think we'll change it up and we'll go Citrus Berry this time. So Flare Blitz, Fake Out, Parting Shot, and I almost said Protect. I ran into that in the restaurant video. That was insane. All right, and then the Grimmsnarl. Of course, this is a light clay set, just to you know do Grimmsnarl things. You know, I've used this mod on almost every single team, and it's just so good. You know, I really make use of it. Sometimes people, they tell me I can't use Grimmsnarl that well, or I can't use it as good as you. Well, if you play 500 games with it, you will get good at it. All right, stop using the Whimsicott Cotton Ball, for God's sakes. Start using Grimmsnarl. It's so much better in best of 3. The screens ruin all kinds of damage calcs, and then you always have the para hacks that you can do. So definitely consider it. And then of course we already did the Ferrothorn. So we have the mons, we have the items, we have the move sets, and you can kind of see how the team can be played out, right? You can even lead, just to talk about some other leads, like you can even do like Thunderous Grimmsnarl, you know, set up your bulk, set up your Airstreams, and Max Lightnings, deal a bunch of damage early, and then this way Lunala and Kyogre can come in from the back, in the middle, and late game behind those screens, you know, safely set up Trick Room, and then, you know, get up those Water Spouts and Origin Pulses and not take that much damage because you have the screens from Grimmsnarl. So there's that. And then even the Ferrothorn would appreciate that, right? Sometimes you don't even bring the Lunala or the Kyogre, you bring one of them, and then you just lead, you know, something like Thunderous Grimmsnarl with Ferrothorn in the back, and then probably Lunala comes with it. So generally, even that kind of 4 is also relatively nice. All right, so how are we gonna do Lunala? So let's talk about the EVs here. So we're gonna just simply go modest here, and I think that's okay. And I think we're gonna go with a kind of spread that Maddie and Joe did, and I think I like it a little bit as opposed to other spreads. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go a little bit of speed, but not too much. So what you can do is you can go like 120, and then after Airstream, you're faster than an opposing Thunderous. But I think I want to go a little bit faster, something like this with 125. This will let you outspeed like some other Groudons that you'll go up against. So having just a little bit of speed is actually okay. All right, and then from here, we just want to be able to have enough bulk where we can survive Calyrex-Shadow Astro Barrage, right, at full health. And that kind of calc looks like this. So first, let's do our special attacking calc. Our special attack EVs. So I always tell people, do your speed tier first, then your special attacking or your attacking slot, right? And then from there, your leftover EVs, you put them into your bulk. All right, so we're gonna go with the EV bump here. Again, you hear me mention this every single video when I do a team building video, right? I always go for these EV bumps because you get a little bit of a damage boost when you hit them, or not really a damage boost, but a boost in your stat. All right, and it's every 80 EVs that you get a bump, and there's 3 bumps within the natured stat, right? So because we're modest nature, we're gonna see the bump in the modest nature, and you'll see that the stat goes up 2 times instead of 1. So let's show you where it is. So right here, I have no investment. My special attacking stat is 172. So I'm just going to keep going here. 173, 174, 176 right here. So here's the first bump. You see how you skipped 175 and you went straight to 176? This is the first bump. So then after this, 80 more EVs, you go to 100, and then that's your next bump, right? You see how you went from 185 and then boop, 187. You skipped 186. So this is the second bump. And then just for the sake of it, just to show it to you, even though I'm not going to go for it, another 80 EVs, 180 investment right here. So you see how you went from 196, you skipped 197 and went to 198. This is the third bump. And this is what EV bumps are all about. So again, if you still don't quite understand what I'm saying about what an EV bump is, you got to comment in the video below. So this way I'll explain it to you one more time written. You know, if you want to play competitive Pokemon, you got to understand what EV bumps are. So if you don't know, just comment, ask, don't be shy, and I'll explain it. All right, but anyway, we'll go back to the second bump here. 187, but again, because we have a Power Herb item, and because we're getting a 1.5 boost when we click Meteor Beam, all right, we want an even number, just because if you get an odd number here, like something 0.5 after you multiply by 1.5 with the Meteor Beam, then it's a decimal and then it rounds down. All right, and then why would you put EVs into your stat that will round down, right? So you want to keep it to an even number in this case, because when you multiply by 1.5, because you're getting a +1, you want that nice whole number after that Meteor Beam, all right? Hey, if you don't know what I'm saying, again, just comment in the video below and I'll explain what that means, why you should have an even number when you have a Power Herb Meteor Beam set. Okay, but anyway, from here, we'll just optimize the rest of our EVs and our bulk. So what we want is just to optimize our hail chip damage. So 239 HP investment is what we want here. I think that's fine. And then the rest just goes into 1 point in defense, and then the rest in special defense. And then here, when I show you the damage calc, this will let you survive the Astro Barrage from Calyrex-Shadow. And again, if you're wondering why I did this, with 239 HP, because I'm optimizing my weather damage from Max Hailstorm or Max Rockfall, which is the sand chip. because if you do some quick math, what is 239 divided by 16? It'll be like, what is it, 12 point something, 12.9, and which rounds down to 12. So at that moment, you're saying, well, okay, why would I break the threshold? Like if I go to 240, now it's a whole number, right? So I have my calculator here. What's 240 divided by 16? Sorry, I did it wrong. Okay, right here. I'm sorry, it was 14.9. So 15. Okay, so then why would you break the threshold and take more damage when you can just undercut it by 1 and take less damage, like 13.9, which rounds down to 13. So then you just put the rest in special defense, right? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Kyogre here. All right, and we just want it to be a little bit slow, but not too slow. Just a 20 speed investment, 113, just so that after an Airstream, you outspeed the base 100s. The speed creepers, actually, you only need 112 for that, but we're going to outspeed the speed creepers and go to 113 here. And then when you go for those Airstreams next to Thundurus, you know, you can be faster than Charizard and then just knock it out with like a Water Spout or something like that. Of course, we are going to go Modest Nature here, and then we're going to be very bulky actually, but we're still going to be doing some damage here. Again, let's take a look at where the bumps are for Kyogre. So the first one is right here, right? You see how I went from 196 to 198. That's the first bump. So 76 investment every 80 EVs. So the next one is 76 plus 80, which is 156. All right, right here, beep, right? You see how I went from 207 to 209, right? That's another bump. And then from here, I just want my bulk, just because I'm already slow. So I just want to have bulk so I can take extra damage. So I'm just going to go to 191 just in case, you know, for hailstorm and rock damage. And then the rest just goes straight into my bulk like this. And this is a very bulky Kyogre spread. And technically, I want to go 164. Just I get that even whole number because of my Mystic Water 1.2 boost. Okay, so very bulky Kyogre, and with an Intimidate and or Reflect, you can take those Grassy Glides from Rillaboom and live. Okay, so this is why you also run a bulky a Kyogre in this kind of sense. Alright, Thundurus, this is going to be a pretty straightforward Thundurus here. We're just going to go max speed Jolly, and then we optimize a little bit of our Life Orb chip just to go to 159 here. Again, you always want to end at 9 if you have Pokemon with a Life Orb. I've broken this rule a few times just because they were so frail that there was no need for it, and then I would just rather do it in the damage. But in this case, I do like a little bit of extra HP. You know, 5 HP is not too bad. That's actually quite a bit, so I do go for it. And then from here, 1 point in defense and special defense, and then the rest just goes into your attacking stat. Alright, so that's a pretty straightforward Thundurus. And then for our Incineroar, we're going to go Careful Nature, second EV bump in the special defense department. So the first one's going to be at 76 EVs. You see how you go from 130 to 132. Then if you invest another 80 EVs, now you go to 156, right? So 141 to 143. Okay, that's the second bump here. A little bit of speed, not too much speed. 28 is all we really need. All right, and then, you know, just to be a little bit faster than some Incineroars that don't have speed investment. I've run faster Incineroars in the past. I've run 95 speed Incineroar, and this is the one that I generally prefer in Trick Room, and also the one I prefer in Grimmsnarl. Actually, let me just show you that spread real quick. Okay, let me just give you some options, just to show you what I like. Well, now I have to do it like this, right? Yeah. Okay, so with this faster Incineroar, like with Grimmsnarl, because the thing is, like, you have Grimmsnarl screens already, so you can take a little bit off the bulk with the special defense. And then just go for a little bit more speed on the Incineroar, especially in Trick Room teams. Is actually kind of nice because in Trick Room, your parting shot versus an opposing Incineroar goes last, right? So what that means is when they go for their parting shot, they bring in something like a Zacian or whatever, and then your parting shot goes next, okay? And then you can parting shot whatever they brought in and then bring in something else that you can bring in because you're swapping in with your Incineroar. And in a non-Trick Room setting, you have a faster fake out and you have a faster throat chop. So this way you stop an opposing Incineroar going for their own parting shot, because that's a sound based move. So that's 3 reasons why you would run a faster Incineroar. Alright, especially when you have Grimmsnarl screen support already and Trick Room. But for this, I'm gonna break that rule and just stay bulky here. 156 investment is what I need, and then from here we're just gonna go like this, max HP, and then just enough at defense where I can survive an intimidated Zacian close combat. Some of them are still running it, so I do want to, you know, be prepared for that. Okay, Grimmsnarl here, very standard Grimmsnarl that we've been using for a while now. Just a little bit of bulk here. Again, second nature, second EV bump in the special in the special defense department, in the careful nature. 1 point in attack, and the rest of this, once you do this spread, you can survive a Zacian Behemoth Blade with Reflect and Intimidate swapped in. So if you can live that Behemoth Blade, then you can get up another screen, which is your light screen, or you can click Thunder Wave or click Spirit Break. But the point is, your Grimmsnarl can stick around for 1 more turn because you survived the Behemoth Blade. Okay, again, but that's only if you have Reflect and swap in Intimidate in the other slot. All right, Ferrothorn, this is the easiest one, I believe. So we already have 0 speed, that's what we want. Brave Nature, we're offensive here. We're not a Leech Seed set, and really all you want is just max attack here, and then just a tiny bit of special defense. The reason why, again, I have this amount in special defense is because I need an even number. Because if you have the Assault Vest, your special defense is multiplied by 1.5 again, and if you have an odd number here, then it's the final value is a decimal. It's like something 0.5, right, which rounds down to that whole number. But you don't want your special defense to round down, right? You want it to either, you know, stay as normal. So you need an even number, so this way you get a whole number. All right. So that's why you have that. Always have an even number in your special defense if you have the Assault Vest, okay? Sometimes it's unavoidable depending on what you're trying to calc for, but generally when you're building, if you have that Assault Vest, go for that even number. Don't go for an odd number. Then you round down your special defense because of that 1.5 multiplier. So that's it. This is the EV spread. Let's go ahead and make a paste. And now what I'm going to show you is a few of those key damage calcs, and then we'll just test it out in a few battles. All right, so let's go ahead and show off those calcs. Okay, so this is the first one I do want to show you. This is the Lunala versus Calyrex-Shadow matchup, where you have their investment here, and here's Calyrex. This is actually a Life Orb Calyrex-Shadow, because this is what I was looking at in January, and you do live this Astral Barrage here. Look at that, 82 to 99%. Again, you are full health, so you are trying to set Trick Room turn 1. If you can get that Trick Room up, you are going to live that Astral Barrage if they're Life Orb, and most of them aren't even Life Orb anymore. A lot of them are Focus Sash because they're scared. So now you still have some health here, so like anywhere up to about 75% damage you'll take if they just go willy-nilly Astral Barrage. But then remember, if you lead Instant Lunala, are they really going to put their Calyrex in position to get Throat Chop turn 1 and then put them down to Sash? Because then what you can do is just Dynamax your Lunala, go for that max Rockfall, and then do the rock damage, and then they lose their Sash, they lose their Calyrex, and maybe even the game. So would they really want to, you know, stay in and click the Astral Barrage button? I don't think so. It's not optimal. So that's one thing. If you're looking at Incineroar from the physical side with the Throat Chop, okay, something like this where like they have 4 attack. If they have Throat Chop here, again, that's only going to be doing about 46 to 56% damage. Not a big deal. It is a lot, and if you did take some chip, like let's say you took 1 point of damage for whatever reason, the Throat Chop can kill you, so you want to be careful of that. But if you have the Reflect and Light Screen up, the Reflect up, if you take some damage, let's say you're at like 200 health instead of 239, you can actually live the Throat Chop here. So if you got your screens up, you know, you can be less afraid of those Dark type moves, and then you know, you can take a few hits. So don't be scared. All right. And I'll even show it back to Calyrex-Shadow. Like, what if you led like Grimmsnarl Lunala, for example? Let's go back. Grimmsnarl Lunala. I'm curious to this. So if you have the light screen up, they go for Astral. I mean, look, 55 to 66. Let's say you take a little bit of damage. Again, let's say if I have 200 health, does it still kill me? Okay, it still kills me. All right, so whoop-de-doo. Okay, so at least we know. At least we know. Okay. But yeah, but now let's also look at Yveltal here, and let's just see how that one matches up. So they typically have that Assault Vest, all right, and they go for that Foul Play and those Sucker Punches. But again, you're trying to set Trick Room here, and what you are going for is you are going for that Meteor Beam, okay? And then, you know, with the Assault Vest, that's still pretty good damage, like +1. I have to say, you know, if you can damage Yveltal like this, that's pretty good for the late game where you have like a Ferrothorn or a Kyogre cleanup. So that's not too bad, you know, considering you know, the Assault Vest from the Yveltal. And if it's Life Orb Yveltal, like some people are running that for whatever reason. Alright, then the Meteor Beam, you have a really nice chance of KOing it with the Meteor Beam because they're less bulky anyway. And they probably don't have the same Assault Vest EV spread. So just be aware of this. But again, if you do take some damage, let's say you're at 200 health instead of 239 just for the sake of it, you are going to die to like Foul Play, Sucker Punch, and even potentially Snarl, like, which is what maybe most Yveltals want to do when they first see you in the first turn, right? They want to Snarl you down, and yeah, look how much damage it does. And then even if you have your screen support, it's still doing a lot of damage, right? Although if you look at this again with the screens, the Assault Vest Yveltal cannot quite kill, not yet. Okay, so you can live things with the screens. So this is what I'm saying. You know, Grimmsnarl is so good. All right, it's just the Calyrex you got to be aware of. But Grimmsnarl, yeah, we're good here if you decide to lead it. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you with the key Lunala calcs. Let's take a look at a few others. Okay, so now this is looking at our Assault Vest Ferrothorn here. So if you look at this, the Flare Blitz does a lot of damage to Ferrothorn here. Actually, let me just put this back to 180 here. So Flare Blitz does a lot, but if you have Reflect, is that enough? Not quite, right? Still 43%. But what if you had Kyogre's Rain? Look at this. So with Kyogre's Rain, Flare Blitz will not kill you, and then if you have Reflect up as well, if you're in that position, right, it barely can hit 50%, which is actually kind of neat. And then if there's no Reflect, and if you're just a Dynamax Ferrothorn, then, you know, the Flare Blitz in the Rain can't even hit 50%, and then now you're going for those hard Max Knuckles and boosting your attack stat, which is really nice. And then if you go for like you know those Steel Spike bonuses in the opposing slot, now the Flare Blitz is just not doing enough damage against you, especially in the Rain. So I think that's kind of cool. Let's look at Zacian, because Zacian's fighting moves are super effective against Ferrothorn. So if I look at Zacian here, let's look at a standard Zacian here. So that's close combat. Let's replace this with Sacred Sword, because you can go through the defenses. So Sacred Sword here, how much is this doing? So like almost 50%. You can it's a guaranteed 3-hit KO when you're Dynamax, which is actually kind of cool. And then look how much your Steel Spikes are doing to Zacian. That's pretty good damage, I would say. And then if you're not Dynamax, does this kill you? You actually can live the Sacred Sword. So good on Ferrothorn on surviving here. And you know, if you got like Reflect up and stuff, yeah, it's still like a 2-hit KO more or less, but you know, you're still surviving, you're still chilling, and then you can go for those hard-hitting gyros. Look how much this does to Zacian, like 60 to 70%. That's pretty good. All right, and if this Zacian's intimidated, man, I mean, the Sacred Sword is just not doing anything, and then the rest of those moves are garbage, and then you're just smashing it with gyro balls. All right, so that's pretty good with the Ferrothorn here. Now, what's kind of cool, and I don't know if this will come up, but what's kind of cool is this. Look at Charizard here. Let's look at Zard here. This is actually kind of insane with Ferrothorn's bulk here. So let me choose this one. No one's running my cracked Zard set. So let's change this here. So Timid, Life Orb, Solar Power. All right, and then let's make one of these attacks Blast Burn just for the heck of it. So, and look at this. So Dynamax Zard of course, can kill like 3 Ferrothorns. Well, technically 2. But look at this. Let's say you Dynamax a Ferrothorn. Okay, first of all, if this is like no sun, all right. I mean, how often Zard is not in the sun? You can actually live the Wildfire first, from if it's like from Heat Wave. Blast Burn, no. But what I really want to show you is if you swap in the Kyogre. Like if you swap in the Kyogre, all right, into a Max Zard, and then your Ferrothorn is Max. Look how little damage the Wildfire is doing to Ferrothorn. That is insane. Considering that Ferrothorn is 4 times weak to fire, the fact that you swapped in Kyogre, brought in the rain, and then making Charizard deal either not even 50% with Wildfire or a little bit above 50% with Blast Burn Wildfire, and then you could just live another turn to like click a move. That's kind of cool. So you're kind of wasting Zard's max a little bit, and then Kyogre can just finish off the Zard, if anything. So I think that's really, really nice. The fact that as a Ferrothorn, you could Dynamax yourself in the rain, which you will be doing often, and then still live Charizard Wildfires if it's in the rain, which is actually kind of nice. Remember, this is a Life Orb Zard max, 252, so really, really nice. All right, just thought I'd bring that up there, but let's look at a few other calcs and then let's look at some test battles. Okay, so this is Kyogre versus Rillaboom, right? This is our bulky Kyogre set. This is a Grassy Glide Kyogre set here. That's Dynamax. So Miracle Seed, Grassy Glide, Rillaboom, and Grassy Terrain. So it can almost one-shot your Kyogre. First of all, it's not even guaranteed, okay? The fact that it's not is actually kind of cool. The fact that you can live a Water Spout. And then second of all, if you have Reflect or Light Screen up or a defense boost up, let's say your Ferrothorn maxes and you get a defense boost, you're already living that Grassy Glide, okay? That's one thing. And then let's say, of course, you know, if you don't have that, if the Rillaboom is intimidated, all right, same idea. Or if you have your screens up with Reflect, same idea here. Now, if you want to live the Wood Hammer, you need another one of those combinations. So let's say if it was Reflect and Intimidate, all right, then you live. All right, if it was, you know, Reflect and a defense boost from Ferrothorn, all right, that's Attack, sorry. Still more or less the same idea. You'll live the Wood Hammer, and then you can go for like an Ice Beam that can potentially kill the Rillaboom, depending on how much chip damage you did on it. I mean, this is our Rillaboom investment. I don't know, you know, who's doing this, but the fact that matters is that you're doing like at least around 80% with Ice Beam, maybe even more if they have no investment in their bulk. But the fact that you can live Grassy Glide with this bulk on the Kyogre is actually really, really nice. So that's what I wanted to show you there. So now we showed some of the key calcs. There's some other calcs, but you know, more details to come later, you know, as you play the team. Let's just go ahead and test it in some battles first. Oh my god, yeah, I remember this game. This is the Helioless Solgaleo team. It's like the same as what's her name? It's like the same as Amanda's team, Cozy Cowgirl, except they replaced the Calyrex with the Kyogre, and I think that makes a lot of sense. But the Helioless is annoying because it's a normal type, right? And you know, that's not good for Lunala. But we have a good matchup into Solgaleo, and the Ferrothorn does look pretty good here, and all things considered. So I do like also Thundurus, just in case he decides to lead the Lando. So Thundurus Lunala looks good as my lead, and he does actually lead the Landers, which is actually kind of funny. Maybe he's considering like maybe the instant lead, but he gives me a boost. Now here's the thing, like, you know, the thing is because he's Life Orb Lando, he's able to put out a lot of damage with the Rockfall, and that's exactly what he's going for here. I thought he would switch in the Helioless in that slot, which is why I went for there, because it's dangerous to go for a Moongeist Beam over there, but I guessed wrong, and then I went into the Helioless swap in, and then look how much Rockfall does. That's just unfortunate for me, because look, even though I had the damage bonus, you know, you can't kill the Landers here, but now you have the Kyogre. So but what's up, the thing is with the Kyogre, I see that the electric move could come in, so I want to protect and then just kill this Landers just so that I don't have to deal with it anymore. So we'll just go for the Meteor Beam now, get a boost, and we get the crit, but that doesn't matter. So we're okay. I mean, he reduces my speed, but look, I'm trying to get up Trick Room now. That's my goal. There's the Rillaboom. So I can go into the Ferrothorn in case he goes for Grassy Glide or Fake Out, which is what he does. Take some chip. He goes for the Dark Pulse. We take that because of our ability. But he does get the flinch, which is a little unfortunate, which means now maybe potentially Dark Pulse can kill me. So I'm just going to go for Protect, and then I'm just going to go for the body press on that thing. He does Superpower, which is weird to see on Rillaboom. Don't use that, please. I didn't expect that. But he does have the Sash on that thing, which I guess I expect because that's the only one that could have a Sash. And he has Dry Skin. That's pretty good in the rain. That's actually a nice tech that he has here. He gets the crit, so he gets the flinch, he gets the crit. Alright, so he's very lucky right now. This is the game we play, but finally we get Trick Room up. But I really wanted the Ferrothorn to be able to do the Trick Room damage, but here's the Kyogre here. So again, this is like after losing my max turn 1. Alright, so we go for Water Spout here. We do some damage because he had to swap out. And we do get rid of the Rillaboom here. And now here comes in the Heliolisk once again. Now we have to heal it, unfortunately, but at the very least I can remove that Kyogre with the Moongeist Beam. And he goes for the Kyogre. I thought he would go for the Lunala there, but I thought going for the Luna, maybe he's not threatened because, you know, I can't really touch him. But again, because I have Trick Room up, I'm able to deal enough damage, and then I just win the game from there. And it was basically a 2-on-1. He can only kill one of me. I have Trick Room up, and I was going for Thunders, so that's why I was like, you know, maybe I should kill the Lunala. I didn't think he expect I'd go for Meteor Beam again, but that was like my best possible play. So the Heliolisk was annoying, but you know, how many Heliolisks are you guys going to be playing? You know, not that many. So let's just go on to another one. I remember this one. So I believe this is Wolf's team. So what I'm going to show you turn 1, don't do. I wanted to do it just because I wanted to do my research for science. I wanted to see how much damage this would do. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So I went with Lunala Instant as a lead, thinking he might lead Groudon and, you know, a fire enabler like a Zard. So he does lead 2 of those things, right? So Zard and Yveltal. Now, unfortunately, he has 2 ground types, and if I were to click Meteor Beam right now, I could see him swapping in to a slot here. And just not wanting to take a Meteor Beam. Like, it could be Groudon switching in or Gastrodon. So I don't think he wants his Zard to die to a Meteor Beam. So I expect the Zard slot to switch in for the ground type. And then I wanted to take a risk here and just Rockfall the Yveltal and see how much damage it would do. I didn't think it would kill. I just wanted to see how much damage it would do. But don't do this. Just safely set up your Trick Room and you're fine. So he goes for the Gastrodon. So he brought 2 ground types most likely. So it did about 50%. So now he clicks Snarl because he thought I was going to go for the Meteor Beam. So now I'm just in a bad spot. But I can just Parting Shot here. I go into my Ferrothorn. I don't have Trick Room up, unfortunately. And I can't Dynamax the Ferrothorn, which would have been amazing here. But I can go for the Gastrodon here. With the defense job. He goes for Foul Play. I mean, I lose the Lunala. And then I do kill the Yveltal. So restricted for restricted. But now I have Instant, and now he brings in the Zard. So again, don't do what I did. I just wanted to see how much Max Rockfall would do. So, and now that I know, yeah, the safer play is just to, go for a Parting Shot or just fake out the Yveltal and then just go for Trick Room, and then next turn get your Ferrothorn in, Dynamax it, boost up, either your Lunala or swap in your Kyogre, and then you'll be fine. But now I have to play this kind of game where I have to swap out my Ferrothorn. I know he's going to swap in Groudon for the Zard, so this is why I swap out Ferrothorn for Kyogre. 1, so I don't get slept, and 2, I change his weather, and then I can Parting Shot the Zard, because Incineroar can live this. So he goes for the Wildfire into the Ferrothorn slot. I figured, so now I Parting Shot the Zard, I go into Ferrothorn in the rain. So now what I can do is I can Power Whip the Groudon here, which I thought he would try and do. And I knew that, but I did miss the Power Whip. So you see, I was still in a great spot, all things considered, because if I land that Power Whip, the Gastrodon dies, and then Kyogre can just freely go for Water Spouts or Origin Pulses, and then I still have Instant in the back. The Groudon would have been trapped for Intimidate cycling, and then the Zard Max he's already -1. I would have been 100% fine. But I missed the Power Whip, and now the Gastrodon has to stay on the field. So, that to me, this is where the game was almost decided. I had no chance here once I missed that, because now my plays look a little bit awkward, but I have no choice but to do it. So I have to protect the Ferrothorn here against the Zard. I've taken a little bit too much damage. He actually goes for the Airstream, which is a smart play, a safer play, I should say. So I can't get rid of the Gashonon, but I can kill the Zard at least. But now here's the next thing. So here's the Groudon. So what I should have done here, and you'll see what I mean in a second, is yes, getting the instant out of here is good, but I should have protected the Kyogre at least one more turn and not let it die. So I do swap the Ferrothorn in the Kyogre slot, which was a mistake because then the instant dies. I remember this Groudon was Life Orb. I should have did it on the other slot, and this way I would have been able to cycle the Groudon and then bring back in my Weather with the Ferrothorn here. So yeah, it would have been so much better here. But now, again, now you also see why I wanted Ice Beam, because you know I have Thunder here and there's not much I can do against this one-on-one Gashodon here. So I'm just going to speed it up here. Of course, I do lose because I can't kill the Gashodon. But again, missing that Power Whip really hurt. I felt like I was great if I hit that, but then again, just don't max turn 1 with the Lunala. I just wanted to try it and see how much damage I would do to Yveltal. But yeah, now I know. So this is a Kyurem with this is a Zacian Kyurem team, but there's no Whimsicott. So this is actually a really strong game for Ferrothorn. Now that I look at it, like you can put so much damage on the Kyurem, deal good damage into Zacian. If you bring your Rain, the Entei's not a huge threat. And then you can always go for Max Darkness plays. So what I decided to do here was very simply go with the Lunala and go with the Instant here, just to try and set up Trick Room here. So what's annoying with the Indeedee is, you know, if he redirects my Moongeist beams, it's not great. But what I can do is try and put pressure on the Kyurem. So he actually maxes the Kyurem. I thought the Indeedee would follow me here. He did not. I think he just went for like Expanding Force plays, which I don't quite understand. So he lets me Parting Shot his Kyurem. I go into the Ferrothorn, and now I get up my Trick Room. So now I max the Ferrothorn. I'm going to force him to follow me. He doesn't click follow me. He takes the Steel Spike. Okay. He goes for Expanding Force. I resist that very well. I go for the Meteor Beam. He lets his Kyurem take the Meteor Beam. All right. And he goes for the Max Blare. And look how well Ferrothorn takes that, even though I'm 4 times weak to fire. So really nice here. I swap into Kyogre so I can take another Max Flare, and now I'm just going to go for those Max Darkness plays because I knew he would try and redirect. So there's the special defense drops, another Max Flare. We definitely take that easily because now we have the Rain. The Sun is back out, but that's okay. Just swap in Lunala back in, go for the Steel Spike, get rid of the Kyurem. Again, no follow me from the Indeedee here. Which is very interesting. He tries for a Heal Pulse, which is kind of funny. So now one more turn of Trick Room. So the Zacian probably protects, but as long as I get rid of the Indeedee, that's okay. And because that's really what I want. So there's the Gyro Ball. There goes the Indeedee. And the Zacian protected, right? It doesn't want to take damage. And now here's the Entei. So I swapped the Ferrothorn for Instant just to trap the Zacian with an Intimidate. And there's the Crunch. So like this is Lunala's bulk talking here, right? I have the defense boost. I can live that dark move. I knew he would try something. I thought it would be Snarl. I'm surprised to see Crunch on the Entei on this kind of team. But he went for it. Sacred Sword is safe. That's fine. All I really wanted was the Intimidate. And the free switch into Kyogre because I got the Trick Room up. Guess what Kyogre gets to click? Water Spout, and there it is, and everything dies. So that's how you're supposed to play this team, right? So without maxing in front of the Yveltal. So let's look at one more. I remember this game. So this is a Tornogre team with Dialga, which is kind of cool. And then he's got Landorus, and there's a Gengar for some reason. So again, you know, these weird sets here. So again, Lunala and Grim, this is where Grimmsnarl looks really nice. I'm just protecting just to scout what this Gengar is trying to do. He's going for a Will-O-Wisp. I don't understand that. I just wanted to break a potential Sash here on the Tornadus. And I don't even know if it is on the Tornadus. It could be on the Gengar for all I know. I don't know what this Gengar is trying to do at this moment. So I set up the light screen just in case he wants to go for like a Shadow Ball. Now he gets the Will-O-Wisp. And now I get the Trick Room up. So that's really good for me. I try to kill a Tornadus. I get a low damage roll, which is unfortunate. And I go for the Moongeist. This is the one that's Sash, apparently. And then that's his gimmick. He has Hex Will-O-Wisp. But that's okay. We bring in Kyogre. We click the Water Spout button. And now also I'm free here to swap into Ferrothorn, just because, you know, there's really nothing else the Grimmsnarl needs to do. I don't need Reflect. I already got the light screen up, so now he's got his restricteds. Dynamax Ferrothorn is here. Max Overgrowth. This is why Ferrothorn's so good. Goodbye Kyogre. Now it's a 3-on-1 against Dialga. He gets the para on me. Alright, so I just have to like deal big damage into the Dialga here. I could just go for like Max Knuckles here, but I try to go for Darkness just to drop special defenses. Let Kyogre try and clean up here, but I get parried. And now he goes for Quake. Okay. But ideally I should have probably went for Knuckles, just because Kyogre's not reliable with these para hacks. And there's another para hacks here. I'd go for Darkness here just to keep dropping his special defenses. And my max is done. He has one more turn. Good. He gets the crit on the Quake. Might as well. He's got so many para hacks. And there's the Ice Beam. Alright, so Body Press is starting to do some damage. We're withering down the Dialga at this point. Ferrothorn still living. Another Parahax from the Kyogre. Okay. And his light screen, the Thunder does miss, so there it is, and Kyogre cleans up. So besides all the Parahax, alright, Ferrothorn and Kyogre have cleaned up the game. So that's generally how you're supposed to play this team, right? Just get the Trick Room up, get your Ferrothorn in position, Dynamax it, and then Kyogre and Lunala can do the rest. Alright, so now let's just do one more review of the Pokepaste. So yeah, there it is. That's our Lunala Kyogre squad built from scratch. So let me know what you think of this kind of squad. Again, if you like Thunder on Kyogre, go for it, right? But I was so mad that I could not beat that Gastrodon with at least some Ice Beams, right? Because, you know, it's not good that not being able to click a move on a ground type. So I think Ice Beam is really, really important. And then the Lunala did fine. Just don't max it in front of the Yveltal. I just did it for research. The Thundurus is really good. Again, you probably want to lead that with like Grimmsnarl, so this way you can survive if they're Life Orb Lando. But you know, you can lead it with Lunala just fine. It's still okay. And Ferrothorn was really good. Like Dynamax Ferrothorn is hard to break because you're going for like defense boost, and you already have like the Assault Vest. So Ferrothorn is really, really hard to break. And once it gets those attack boosts at least, or even those defense boosts, it just goes for hard body presses, hard gyro balls, hard power whips, and it's really, really nice. So definitely give this one a go if I make it a rental code. Let me know if you want this to be a rental code, but this is what I'm going to be using in the March IC challenge. I just wanted to show you how I built the team, so let me know what you think of the squad. And again, if you're interested again with the coaching or the team building with me, that is a tier 3 sub to the channel. All right, just message me on Discord or even comment in the video like, hey, I signed up for tier 3, I want to build a team with you. Or you know, if you want to do team fixing, which is a tier 2 sub, that's where you make a Pokepaste yourself, you send it over to me, I optimize it, and then I send it back, and then I make a video showing how I play the team, how I improve it, how I fixed up the EVs, you know, show you a couple damage calcs. But again, all things to consider when you're trying to play competitive Pokemon. So join the channel, join the tier subs. We'll be back with another video. Until next time, guys, have a good one.